Leon Miller had been driving for hours before he noticed the hotel. The highway was empty, the kind of emptiness that pressed inward, and the rain had reduced the world to a narrow tunnel of headlights and wet asphalt. He hadn't planned to stop. He was supposed to reach the town by morning. The funeral was at 9. But grief has a way of bending time, of hollowing a man out until exhaustion feels like drowning. When the neon sign appeared through the rain, Hotel Ouroboros, he felt something close to relief. The building rose from the darkness like a relic, all stone arches and glowing windows untouched by modernity. It looked warm, permanent, like a place that had always been there and always would be. The lobby smelled of gardenias and dust. Heavy velvet curtains swallowed the walls, and brass fixtures gleamed dully beneath yellowed lamps. At the center of the space stood a massive grandfather clock. Each tick landed with a slow metallic clack, thud, as if the mechanism inside was struggling under its own weight. Leo felt the rhythm settle into his chest, slightly off from his heartbeat, close enough to be uncomfortable. The concierge stood behind the desk as though she'd been waiting for him. She was elderly, thin, her posture unnaturally straight. A silk scarf was tied tightly around her neck, hiding something beneath it. Her eyes were sharp and assessing, like a bird deciding whether something was prey. "Back so soon, Mr. Miller," she said pleasantly. "I see you've changed your coat." Leo blinked. The words didn't land correctly back. He asked, "I've never been here before, I just saw the sign." "My name is Leo." She opened a thick, leather-bound ledger and ran a finger down a page already filled with writing. Her smile was polite, but it never reached her eyes. "Of course," she said, "my mistake, room 303. You always prefer the view of the cemetery." "I didn't ask for a view," Leo said, unease creeping in. "And how did you know my name?" She slid a heavy iron key across the desk. It felt warm in his hand, as if someone else had been holding it moments before. "You're a man of habit, Leo," she replied softly, "even if you don't know it yet." Room 303 was opulent in the way old things often are, beautiful but tired. The wallpaper was patterned and peeling at the edges. The furniture was solid oak, scarred with decades of use. The bed sagged slightly in the middle, as though someone had only just risen from it. Leo dropped his suitcase and noticed the glass of water on the nightstand. It was half empty. Fresh condensation rings bloomed beneath it. "Housekeeping missed a spot," he muttered, though the words sounded hollow. When he opened the closet to hang his funeral suit, his breath caught another suit already hung there, identical to a same cut, same buttons. But it was ruined, caked in dried mud, the left sleeve torn open as if grabbed by something desperate. A sound came from the bathroom, the unmistakable rasp of a razor dragged slowly across stubble. "Hello," Leo whispered, dread tightening his throat. He pushed the door open. The room was empty. The mirror, however, was fogged over, and in the condensation someone had traced 4 words. "Don't check out." His phone buzzed in his pocket, startling him so badly he nearly dropped it. There was no signal. That was when he noticed the Polaroids. They were tucked into his bag, their edges warm as if freshly printed. The first showed him at the check-in desk, smiling. The date read yesterday. The second showed him laughing at the hotel bar with the concierge, her hand resting on his arm 2 days ago. The third made his knees buckle. It showed him standing over a grave in the cemetery outside the hotel. The headstone bore his name. Today. The phone on the wall rang shrill and violent, tearing through the silence. "Who is this?" Leo demanded when he answered. The voice on the other end was his own. "Check the drawer, Leo." It said urgently before she comes up. "You've done this 12 times, break the cycle." He yanked open the nightstand drawer. Inside were wallets, 12 of them. Every single one contained his ID. Some were old and cracked, some were new. One was soaked so thoroughly in blood, the leather had darkened almost black. Footsteps echoed in the hallway, slow dragging through the peephole. Leo saw the concierge approaching. She was leading a man by a leash made of copper wire. The man turned his head. It was him. His eyes were stitched shut with copper wire. His mouth was twisted into a permanent silent scream. Leo staggered back as the rip appeared in his sleeve, spreading just like the one on the ruined suit in the closet. "Mr. Miller." The concierge called gently from the other side of the door. "It's time for your funeral." He looked out the window. 12 graves lay open below. 11 were filled. One waited. When the door opened, she moved impossibly fast. The grandfather clock downstairs beat. Jake arrived at the Lumina. Stay just after midnight. Guided there less by intention than exhaustion. The building rose out of the darkness with clean, modern lines and a soft glow that made it look welcoming, almost gentle. Too gentle. The automatic doors parted soundlessly, and the first thing Jake noticed wasn't what he saw, but what he felt. The air was warm, not heated, and alive. It wrapped around him with a faint resistance, like stepping into shallow water. The lobby was immaculate to the point of discomfort. The walls were a pale pinkish beige, smooth and seamless, without corners sharp enough to cast shadows. The furniture looked minimalist and modern, but when Jake brushed his fingers along the edge of a chair, it gave slightly under his touch, yielding like dense foam or muscle held under skin. A low hum filled the space. At first, Jake assumed it was ventilation, some distant industrial system working overtime. But the longer he stood there, the more the sound bothered him. It wasn't mechanical. It had rhythm, a wet undertone beneath the vibration, like something massive shifting its weight far below the floor. The girl at the front desk smiled at him. Her skin was flawless in a way that didn't look human. Too smooth, too deflected, like polished plastic stretched tight. She didn't blink when she spoke. Her lips parted a fraction of a second before the sound reached Jake's ears, as though the voice were catching up to the movement. She welcomed him by name. Jake laughed nervously, assuming it was a gimmick, a hospitality trick. She corrected herself instantly, her smile tightening just a bit as she handed him the key card. Room 101, soundproof walls, total privacy. Nothing gets out. The phrase stuck with him longer than it should have. Room 101 felt like a reward for surviving the drive. The bed looked impossibly inviting, layered in pristine sheets that seemed to breathe when the air shifted. Jake sat down, then lay back, and sighed as his body sank deeper than expected. The mattress molded around him perfectly, every pressure point dissolving into comfort. It was the most relaxed he had felt in years. Too relaxed. When he tried to stand, his hand stuck to the bed sheet. At first he laughed, thinking he'd spilled something. Then he pulled harder. A thin, translucent strand stretched between his palm and the fabric, shimmering faintly before snapping. His skin tingled where it had touched. Unease crept in slowly, like a delay reaction to poison. He went to the bathroom, intent on washing his hands. The sink looked normal. The handle turned smoothly. Instead of water, a thick, clear gel oozed from the faucet, pooling sluggishly in the basin. It had no smell, no bubbles. It moved with a weight water shouldn't have. Jake wiped his hands on a towel and backed away. The wall felt warm when he touched it. Not sun-warm, body-warm. On impulse, he pressed his ear against the wallpaper. The sound beneath it made his stomach drop. A massive thud dub rolled through the wall, then another slow, deep, immense. It wasn't plumbing. It wasn't machinery. It was a heartbeat. Panic snapped into place. Jake lunged for his boots, but the floor shifted beneath him, softening like wet sand. His feet sank inches down, then more. The hum in the walls deepened, vibrating through his bones, no longer passive, hungry. He looked up, desperate for an exit, and saw the ceiling vent. It wasn't a vent. A row of white, calcified protrusions lined the opening, uneven and curved teeth. They glistened with the same clear gel droplets, stretching and falling with obscene slowness. Jake screamed for help. The walls absorbed the sound instantly. He ran for the door. The handle was gone. Where the door had been was now a smooth seam of pinkish material, pulsing faintly as though healing over a wound. The room was closing itself, sealing. The wallpaper behind him began to peel, not tearing, but parting like skin, opening along a surgical line. Beneath it was a translucent membrane glowing faintly. Behind it floated bodies. Men, women, shapes that had once been people, suspended in gel, their forms softened, edges blurred, faces slack with blissful smiles that didn't belong on the dying tubes, and fibrous white roots threaded into their skin, pulsing gently, feeding something unseen. One of them opened his eyes. They focused on Jake. White roots filled the man's mouth, branching inward, connecting him to the walls like nerves. His voice didn't come from his throat. It bloomed inside Jake's skull. Don't fight it. It's so warm here. We're all the same person now. The truth hit Jake all at once, overwhelming and undeniable. This wasn't a hotel. It was a stomach. The bed beneath him rose, folding upward like a massive tongue. The ceiling lowered. The teeth above began to grind, slow and patient. Jake sobbed as the walls pressed closer, his skin tingling. Then numbing, his hands paled, fingers fusing together.